Thank you so much, Chamberlain. Good morning. Welcome to Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. Interesting conversation right there with the governor of Kaduna State. Of course, we hold the Sunrise team to it and hope that they can get him back to complete some of those conversations. Now, let's go to the world of business, beginning what's going on in the oil space. Prices ticked high on Wednesday as growth in U.S. oil production is expected to remain largely steady through 2025, easing worries of excess supply. Brent crude futures rose 38 cents. Let's look at the numbers right there, and we see it's gained 0.5%. Are still not at the $80 yet. Yesterday, the Minister of Finance speaking to the lawmakers, of course, we need it to get to $80 for Nigeria. But it's not yet there from what the minister was saying. And then WTI, also from the US, is at $73.72 a barrel. And that's up 0.6%. And we know that the EIA has cut its forecast for domestic oil output growth in 2024 by 120,000. Perhaps this will move prices. As we know, when there's a squeeze on supply, then the prices would go up. U.S. government data oil inventory will be released later on today. U.S. crude stocks expected to have risen 1.9 million barrels in the last week as production recovered from cold freeze and refinery state maintenance. Meanwhile, U.S., Qatari and Egyptian mediators prepared a diplomatic push to bridge differences between Israel and Hamas. We know that the Red Sea and also that geopolitical tension is also having impact on prices. Well, still talking about oil back here in Nigeria. If you're living in Lagos, I'm sure you have noticed the queues are back at filling stations for about 2 days now. We thought it was a joke, but it's still on even as we speak, with talks or rumors of possible hike in prices. But now, the Chief Corporate Communications Officer of the NNPC Limited, Mr. Olufemi Shuneye, has shared the company's stance on this. He said that the recent queues at filling station, especially in Lagos, and then we noticed that the NNPC filling stations, for instance, are not even open. He says, according to him, that there are no supply issues and products remain readily available. However, the recent tightness experienced in certain areas was due to a brief disruption issue in Lagos, which has since been resolved, in his words, Mr. Shoneye's words. But we're yet to see that supply resolution, spill over to Lagos filling stations. So there's still either no selling or long queues. Now, that sound you hear is a closing gong at the local boss after yesterday's trade where the Senate Committee on Capital Markets, led by the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mr. Lamido Yuguda, among others, were AVI NGX yesterday, according to Senator Osita Izunazor, Chairman, Capital Committee on Capital Market. The lawmakers will revisit bills important for the growth of the capital market. Meanwhile, the SEC DG asked for patience to enjoy the benefits of the recent FX reforms.
First of all, we're going to look at all the legislative framework that in National Assembly now waiting for amendments or repeal in one way or the other. We're going to look at the Investment and Securities Bill that is before us. We're also going to look at the CISB that is before us. And we're also going to resurrect the PCCL bill that was in National Assembly since 2014. We'll look at it because that bill is seeking to compel investors to list on the capital market. So we'll have to look at it to see whether it is the right thing to do or not.
In terms of foreign investors, we want foreign investors to come back, into this market. I think the foreign exchange policies of the central bank are really helping in that area. We will have to give them time to work. I think the fiscal policy stance of the government is also helping in that area. And we are now beginning to see even the pension funds beginning to look again at the equity market.
Well, yesterday was a very busy day. The lawmakers' chambers, the finance minister, Mr. Waledu, has told the House of Representatives that increasing oil production and exports offer quickest route to improving the country's cost of living. He emphasized that the nation's economic situation has improved since President Bola Tinubu took office, averting potential disaster. Additionally, the central bank governor, who was also there at the session, informed lawmakers that transactions in the Nigerian stock market, you just saw there, reached a record of 800 million. February. Well, we've been celebrating this for many months now. But let's listen to that report and then we'll delve into some issues that come up from there.
Members of the House of Representatives are back after the by-elections conducted over the weekend. The pressing issue of the cost of living in the country is raised as a matter of urgent national importance. The House calls for federal investment in impactful measures while appealing to stakeholders in the production chain to be more realistic in price increments on their goods and services. The Ministers of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the CBN Governor and the FIRS Chairman are admitted into the chamber, and the debate is kicked off by the Deputy Speaker.
We're going to start with the FIRS.
One after the other, the invited guests speak on the state of the economy from their various perspectives.
Given this economic condition and with the promise of Mr. President, what we need to do is to re-strategize within to make sure that we bring more people into tax net. So without increasing the tax rate, that will be able to meet the targets. And that is what has led to us restructuring.
The urgency of the matter is not lost on us at the central bank. And I really want to assure you that we're working tirelessly with colleagues from across government, including with the leadership of this House, to bring lasting solutions.
We are not going to take the easy way out. And more than that, the budget provided more money, both on nominal and in real terms, than has ever been provided in the priority sectors.
Where we are as a nation economically is a much, much better place than we were on the 29th of May, 2023. If we look at the finances of the government today, there has been benefit to the Federation account. And likewise, there have been other benefits which have accrued as a result of the changes that have been made.
They respond to questions from lawmakers on improving the economy and its impact on the cost of living, which is generating pockets of protests across the country.
This is a good news, quite frankly. It's good news that there's sufficient enough investor confidence returning back to the market for people to feel comfortable to do that volume of transactions. That's the good news. So I think it's something that we should be pleased about, and it's something that we expect will continue to get better as the reform process continues to gather steam.
Number one road to salvation is getting crude oil exports up. It is God-given. The price is at $80, $77/$80. You can't get much higher than that. In the days when we had $100 billion of revenue, the oil price wasn't that high, but production was at 2.2 million barrels. You can do the mathematics. In short, our easiest and quickest route to a better living standard for all Nigerians in the short term is raising oil production, oil exports, oil sales, bringing in foreign exchange.
This is the second in the series of sectoral debates organized by the House to address concerns in various sectors of the country. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Yeah, so a lot of issues raised there, and we know that the foundation of this meeting is obviously the protest we've been having. We've had one in Kano, We had the bakers, the women in Kano also. We had the protests seemingly unorganized in Niger State, protesting the high cost of living in the country. We know we've also had a statement from the President Bola Tinubu, since he came into town or back into the country yesterday. But let's take some excerpts from, those meetings we just heard right there. And joining us for this is Mr. Dr. Biodun Adedipe. He is the Chief Consultant, B. Adedipe Associates, and joins us virtually from Lagos. Dr. Adedipe, good morning and thank you for your time.
Yeah, a very good morning to you, Ini.
Yes.
For having me here.
Thank you. So, a lot coming out there, but we just have a couple of minutes. First of all, the Minister of Finance said that we're in a better place today compared to May last year. But I don't know if you watch our sister program, Politics Today. Sheung took some time out to reel out the numbers, inflation numbers and value of the naira compared to the dollar, and it doesn't seem that way. I guess the defense is President Bola Tinubu was confident enough to take off subsidy, which a lot of governments have been running away from. Perhaps that's why he says we're in a better place today compared to, before now.
Well, that I would say is dependent on which metrics you are looking at, right? Now, if the minister looked at the fiscal consolidation and, of course, allocation to the government, that will indicate that we are in a better place, no doubt. Because when you take the exchange rate differentials along with steady, improvement in revenue collection, that shows clearly a positive trajectory in that regard. More allocations getting to the states and local governments, and to that extent also, you see that featuring in the budget for 2024, whose structure is somewhat better than the structure of budget 2023. Those are positive. And of course, you can equally look at the issue of the management of the FX market that you mentioned earlier. Some pragmatic actions taken by the central bank, and how that triggered an immediate increase in the supply to the market last week. Now, those are positives, in which case the courage to take the right actions. Equally, removal of fuel subsidy, which of course meant a saving of about $10 billion annually that we have spent on that in the last 12 to going now to 13 years. So all of those are positives. But if you look at other metrics, like rightly mentioned, the rate of inflation, with latest data for December 2023, is 28.92%, and the real cause of the concerns of everybody, that which impacts the cost of living, is food inflation, which is above 30%, and that is where the real issue is. So if I were to now look at this and take a pointer to what government should give more attention to, it would be, in fact, two things. FX is one, and that rests on building investor confidence, especially foreign investors. Yes, as Finance Minister said, the short and quick route to that is to increase oil production. As he mentioned, at over 1.6 million barrels per day, that's good news. Add another 200,000 barrels of condensate. That puts Nigeria in a comfortable, trajectory in terms of growing oil production and export. So which means in the near term, we may see an improvement, therefore, in FX inflows as a result of that improvement in the oil sector. Then we come to the big elephant in the room, and that's what I call it. It is what people are responding to all over the country. Though, yes, not peculiar to Nigeria, the same is happening all over the world. But we know the peculiarity of our own case is the fact that a lot of what we produce in our farms goes into loss. We call it post-harvest loss. And the estimate of that is around 60%, which means the quick wins in dealing with the major cause of, this food inflation is improved security to start with, that allows farmers to go to their farms, cultivate, mature their crops, harvest, and bring to the market. That deals with supply primarily. Then, of course, to maintain steady supply on and off season, we need to deal with post-harvest losses. And that means processing, deliberate investment or put incentives for private sectors to invest in processing and storage. If we're able to do that, then we have a near-term solution to the high food inflation.
All right,
of course, the big number in cost of living. All
right, Dr. Adedipe, just briefly now, do you see the government on an intentional mission, to deal with this? We've narrowed it down to food insecurity and supply, which is feeding into inflation and all of that. We know that last year, July, the president declared state of emergency on food insecurity and all of that. But do you see steps taken to intentionally deal with this problem?
That is what I will say. Even if the government has taken steps, they need to let Nigerians know. Because that's the issue of communication. They need to let us know that these are the steps we have taken. But for me, as an analyst, I will particularly want to hear specifics with respect to dealing with post-harvest losses. But we've had this as a problem for decades. So if we are specific in dealing with that, let the government also communicate that. So people know that, yes, the challenges we are facing now will be just for a while. So, but if there's no communication in that respect, connecting to where the pain point is, then we see people protest and complain, and do all sorts of things. They won't appreciate the gains this government has made, which of course we recognize we have made some gains, as the Minister of Finance said. But the reality is that they must put before the people specific actions they are taking, that we address the root cause of this problem.
All right, thank you so much. We'll keep saying this and hope that, we would, as you said, specifics, especially with timelines. I guess we won't see protests. If people knew the timeline, we knew that, okay, in 6 months we expect this, in 10 months we expect. But thank you so much, Dr. Biodun Adedipe, Chief Consultant, B. Adedipe Associates.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now let's switch gears and talk about the tech. If you're a tech person, this is your time. I know you'll be excited about this because we are celebrating Samsung Galaxy S24 series. And I don't have information on this, as you might have guessed. So we have the product manager, Samsung Electronics West Africa, that's Stephen Okwara, as well as Chika Nadozie, the PR and head marketing. Hi, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
You can look at me, it's fine.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, good to have you on the show. So, you guys have something to tell us about your Samsung in these days of AI. You obviously want to show off some tech that Samsung is presenting to the world. So can we have maybe some of the features? Is that the phone?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so you want to show us and tell us about it.
Okay, so this is the Samsung Galaxy S24. A model we just launched on the 17th day of January 2024. It's a new experience, entirely new experience, and that's because of the introduction of artificial intelligence on a smartphone. When it comes to the tech space, the mobile phone space, it's been proven beyond reasonable doubt that Samsung is actually world innovators. We take the lead while the rest follow. Looking back to when we introduced the Note series.
One would say it's because you're working with Samsung.
No, objectively, actually. Looking back from when we actually introduced the first Note series, a technology that actually, changed digital writing, changed it, brought it to an entirely new level. Even to when we introduced the space zoom, 100 times zoom, and so on and so forth, zeroing the gap between the DSLR camera and the mobile phone camera and the foldable series. Now, on the S24, you are looking at a device that is fully artificial intelligence enabled. So what does that translate to? We are in the tech, we are in the space or generation of artificial intelligence, but a lot of people see this technology as far-fetched, as gimmick. What is artificial intelligence? Okay. Looking at it literally, it simply means the ability of a device to, to execute complex tasks, likened to that of human logic or reasoning. So you can imagine having such technology on a mobile phone right at the palm of your hands. You can do a whole lot. All right. Starting from, let me just give you some tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
Imagine a situation where you want to retrieve an information, for instance, from, let's say, search in any of the search engines, Google search and so on and so forth. And all you need to do, you need to go open your browser, type in the keywords or anything, and if you don't have the exact word, you're left with multiple options to choose from. And that's a bit, that's a bit constraining.
Okay, so let me just bring Chika in.
Yeah.
Chika, okay. I mean, AI, very interesting, but we also hear the threats that come with AI, cyber crimes increasing, jobs, threats of jobs being lost and all of that. So have you taken into consideration all of this, the downside of AI before, in this new AI device?
Oh, absolutely. When we're talking about AI, I mean, Samsung is one brand that, when it comes to innovation, we always push the boundaries. And what that means is, before we go into this kind of innovation, we are always very careful. We take security as one of our top priorities. Absolutely. Right? So, I mean, there are several measures that we take. Most importantly, with the NOC security, this ensures that both your data as well as any information that you have on your phone is very secure. And then also with the AI, it also gives you the opportunity to customize, the security requirements based on what you would like. So as far as you can go.
What do you mean by customizing? Help us to understand.
Okay, so for example, if you want your data to be 100% secured, if you don't want a number of people to have access, you can always restrict the amount of people that can access.
Restrict maybe your friends, maybe your family. You choose your boundaries.
Yes, you can choose your boundaries. It gives you that option because, like we said, this is what AI does, right? AI makes your life easier. So yes, of course, this is Samsung's priority, and this is something that we are also taking into consideration with the S24.
So Stephen, you're about to show us some of those things.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. So you can imagine if you want to retrieve an information, like I mentioned earlier, on the internet, you're left with, typing in the words, and then left with several options to select from. But with a unique feature called circle to search, I can retrieve any information by just drawing a circle. For instance, I see, like when we're coming in here, I think I've never been here before. All I needed to do was search for the picture of the building of channels, just drew a circle, and it gave us step by step.
Do you want to do it on your phone so we can
absolutely.
see? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can actually
There's
do
a camera on you,
okay.
So don't worry about it.
So this is exactly what...
No, turn the other way. Yeah, better.
Okay, better.
This is good.
So this is exactly what I did here. So all I needed to do was just draw a circle on the building, and it gave me the exact location of Channels TV, and all I needed to do was click, and it would take me straight to the location using the Google Maps. So that is one technology that's simply amazing. Now, there are instances where when you open a web page, let's say you have an article, you want to read an article on a web page, and the article happens to be extremely long, you just want to summarize it in maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs. The artificial intelligence comes in here to do the job. Now,
so do you want to put it on the camera
absolutely.
So we see what you're doing?
Take a look at this. Now, I'm actually reading from one of the national dailies. And you can see this article, pretty long. If I don't want to waste my time, I can just click on my AI to do that job for me, summarize. And in less than 30 seconds, okay, there's no internet here. So in less than 30 seconds, the device automatically summarizes the entire page for me, and I can decide to either transcribe or translate it to another language that you can actually see. And that's not all. There's another unique feature. This is mind-blowing. It's the most sought-after feature on the Samsung Galaxy S24 series, and that is real-life call translation. We're in an environment where a lot of people speak different languages, and we have a little bit of a language gap, amongst people when they are communicating. Now, on this device, you necessarily don't need to worry about that at all. And that's because the device comes with a real-time call translator and, of course, an interpreter. Now, take a look at what I'm going to do here. If, for instance, I want to call...
That's your camera.
Okay, thank you. If I want to call, let's say, a friend in... a Korean friend who probably does not speak or understand English, all I need to do, input the number, dial the number, and call up my artificial intelligence to do the real-life call translation. And you can see here, my caller is preset to French, and I speak English. Anything I say in English, the other party gets to hear. My Korean friend gets to hear it in Korean language, and when he speaks Korean language, I get to hear it in English language. That's one beautiful thing about AI on the smartphone. But that's not all. If we want to actually, let's say we're having a conversation, we're in a board meeting, and we actually want to transcribe, you don't want to take notes, you don't have somebody to take the minutes of the notes for you, the real-life voice translator can actually do that for you. So all you just need to do, I can go on and go on.
I need to ask Chika, I think very soon, humans will not need to think anymore.
Yeah.
Isn't that a challenge?
I mean, now you've raised this important point. It's important to bring out the motivation behind, these amazing devices. Because Samsung is a leading producer of flagship products, right? And, this, you would agree with me that being at the top, you have to consistently outdo competition and set the pace for others to follow. And that's what we've done. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about AI. And for the first time, like my colleague has said, we're bringing AI to the palms of our consumers. So basically making their lives easier.
Absolutely.
In the past, S-series have been streamlined with respect to the users, but for this device, it's now for anyone who wants to make their life easier. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a content creator? Are you a celebrity? Are you a student? Are you a parent? Of course, you're looking to make your life easier.
So you're driving the computer manufacturers, are you driving them out of business?
Of course.
Because with this, you don't really need computer if you can do everything on your palm.
Well, but that's good, but they equally have their own space. Just like look at the DSLR cameras and the mobile phone cameras. They usually have the own space that they play. But this is making life.
But who can afford this, guys? Let's drill down to the who can afford this?
Okay, I mean, like,
or do you have? I know some shops, and transactions, they allow for installment payments, things like that.
Absolutely. So yes, even at Samsung, we also have options for flexible payments. We have a software which is called the FlexPay. It allows you to buy and pay in installments, and you can choose whether you want to pay in 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months with a very little interest rate. So we are making it affordable to the larger audience, right?
Sounds good. But Stephen, any other thing you want to show us? Because we are so excited about some of these
super excited. Why? Because this is the first time we are seeing a device that is fully artificial intelligence enabled. So there are a whole lot of features, and of course time wouldn't permit us to go through it. But there's another notable one. It's been proven that every second somebody is taking pictures somewhere. All right, so mobile photography has actually narrowed down the gap between the DSLR cameras and the smartphone camera. On this device, with the AI integrated here, you can actually take amazing features, even in a dimly lit environment, and do a whole lot of image adjustments. All right, I can take a picture of you right now and literally take you out of here completely. And then the AI will automatically generate something else and replace it right here, making it look amazing. Of course, I would have loved to demo that here.
Yeah, I mean, it's also good to mention with all these features, right? The processor has also been increased, the battery life has also been...
So it doesn't take time.
Exactly, so it's very fast, and the battery life is also been optimized, so you don't have to worry about constant charging.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, guys, for this. I wish you were living that right here, and then you can go.
This is mine, actually. You should go get yours.
Oh, nice one. Nice one. Thank you so much. Chika Nadozie, Head of Marketing with Samsung Electronics West Africa, and Stephen Okwara. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Nice having you.
All right. All right. Well, Samsung right there and AI and all of that. The world is being taken over by AI. I hope we can afford it. Let's, just before we hand over, we have just a minute or so to hand over to the Sunrise team. Let's tell you how the market closed yesterday. Profit taking is persisting at the NGX, but it's not a bad thing. Trust me, it's not a bad thing. We're still up there, 102,108.05. That's how the NGX closed. The equity is at 55.87. Activity yesterday, volume was in red, value was in red, deals in red. A typical picture of profit taking. So you have it 11,000. We've lost like 19%. Let's look at the sectors. Banking is still facing a lot of that profit taking down more than 2%. Consumer goods, marginal, industrial. this big guy, this sector actually moved the market a whole lot. Remember, Dangote Cement, Bra Cement, all of them. So profit taking is on them now. And then our insurance, our penny stocks that have been gaining up, they've also been affected. Oil and gas remains unchanged. Top gainers yesterday, Cadbury, Julie and Mayer, right there. Losers was Cornhall. PLC. So that's how much we can take. I hope 30 minutes was worth your time, but I know you have more information on the other side with the Sunrise team. Chamberlain, back to you.